Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX with me, Devika Chopra. Our top focus right now. The Supreme Court has dismissed a plea filed by a woman seeking possession of the Red Fort. Sultana Begum, a resident of Howrah, has claimed that she is the widow of the great-grandson of Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar II. She contended that the government had taken illegal possession of the Red Fort and was unwilling to provide adequate compensation commensurate with the property's value. A bench of Chief Justice Sanjeev Khanna and Justice Sanjay Kumar have stated that the plea filed by Sultana Begum was misconceived and meritless at the outset. They further asked the petitioner that if the petition is to be considered, then why only claim the Red Fort? Why not Fatehpur Sikri or the Taj Mahal even? What's interesting is that the Delhi High Court had dismissed the same claims by Sultana Begum in 2021. A single judge bench of the High Court noted that there is no justification for the inordinate delay in approaching the court after over 150 years. Additionally, last year, division bench of the Delhi High Court also dismissed the appeal, noting that the challenge was filed after a delay of 2.5 years, which could not be condoned. But why exactly are people making such bizarre claims? We take that conversation forward. I have with me Sumit Peer on the broadcast from Shavish Rain, Advocate of the Supreme Court, Gautam Mukherjee, Senior Journalist, and Mr. Naveen Chomal, Advocate at the Supreme Court as well. Let me begin with Mr. Chomal. Mr. Chomal, I want to understand from your perspective, when such cases, for example, like a Sultana Begum were to approach an advocate that this is my right and this is the sort of case I want to file, I want to understand from your perspective, how do advocates even go about such matters? What really is it that you suggest to people who come to you to make such claims? Because clearly, perhaps as an advocate, one would know that the courts of the country would not entertain such a plea.
See, there are two aspects of it. So, the legal aspects, everybody knows that there are no merits in such claims. But what is happening today in our country, and unfortunately, there is a big trend going on in our country that several frivolous petitions, but they are aimed with certain objectives to incite a feeling of what you say, superiority of certain people that is being fostered. So that is why you see these people, for example, the lady claiming to be descendant from the Mughal Empire, she doesn't have means. How could she afford to have a lawyer? Somebody drafting the petition, trying to make it as logical as possible, or at least what you say, there is a sense of entitlement for her given to her that no, you can claim the property, this is your property, this is your right. So these people from the minority, as we have been seeing in the worst cases also, they have been demanding the various property. And
Chomal, we seem to be having a lot of problem with your audio, so I'm going to request you to please rejoin the news channel, so that we have a lot of issues with the audio. It keeps getting dropped. Let me bring in Sumit Peer into the conversation. Sumit, bizarre claims being made as the country is having a conversation already about the Waqf Act itself. What really is the purpose with which people approach the courts with such a case? Do they really believe that the courts of India will entertain such a plea, or is this simply a publicity stunt?
Devika ji, thank you very much for having me on your show, ma'am. Well, there are a couple of aspects to it. The first and the most important aspect is you have to understand the bigger plan, bigger design, and it is a very, very dangerous thing what they attempted today. Thanks to Justice Khanna and thanks to CG of India, Honorable Sir, and to Maniniya Supreme Court, which has brought this down and quashed this thing. What happened? Look, after Waqf, first you had Waqf Act. You could just lay claim on anything. Bhai, ye to hamara. Waqf by user, Waqf by sapna, Waqf by apna. Anything was apna, right? So, मतलब किसी का माल भी अपना था. Now, after when that got shot down by the Honorable Parliament, so what have they done? Suddenly, a group of people have woken up and they say, okay, I am descendant of this. Now, first go and prove she is a descendant of this or not. What? Lal Killa mera hai. So even if you admit that petition, so today you will say Lal Killa, then they'll say Delhi meri hai. Then someday they will say Puri Purani Delhi meri hai. Then they will say Fatehpur Sikri. It's not about Fatehpur Sikri Taj Mahal. Then somebody will say by the logic of inheritance, Mughals were ruling entire Delhi and Mughals were looting 60-40% of the India. फिर तो 40% इंडिया हमारा और तुम लोग किराएदार हो या तो किराया दो या जजिया दो. I mean that is exactly the mentality where it was going. The plan was to kind of get quotes, thousands and thousands of applications. Everybody will come and claim I'm a descendant of Falana, Falana, Falana. Ye vara mera, ye vara mera, ye vara mera. Britishers came. They have forcibly taken it from us, and now the Bharat has come and it is yours. So, by the logic of it, if something belongs to me, then there's a change of guard. Britishers were here for 200 years. You did not come there. Then after independence, there were 75 years again gone by. You did not come here when the Waqf Act got dismantled. Also, and the wings got clapped. So what you have come up with? You have come up with a different tariqa. Now earlier you were using waqf to get all these properties. Now you are using the way of inheritance. If these petitions start getting entertained by the courts, we are opening a Pandora's box of disaster. There will be thousands and thousands of them. Anybody will wake up for anywhere and claim this land is mine because Britishers take it from my great grandfather. Now I am suddenly realize this land is mine, so I let me go and take it. When the application got quashed from the Delhi High Court and it was said it is all frivolous, don't get it here. Now when the Waqf Act gets quashed, exactly after that, you are trying a route B. This is a route B to come have stake on all possible high value properties of India, and by that logic entire Delhi would be then her. Why not? Why Lal Killa क्यों मांग रहे हो madam? पूरी दिल्ली मांगी है ना? Then we will say Bahadur Jafar was the king of whole Delhi. Why whole Delhi is not yours? Why Parliament House is not yours? Why my house is not yours? गलती हो गई, अगली बार ये मांगना. Ask for my house, ask for your house, ask for Naveen's house, ask for Gautam's house. Everything is yours. So these kind of things should be seen as a nefarious design. We should not see this lady as an innocent lady who was led by garden path by somebody. And trust me, advocates and all know their business, but there are some people who have certain motivations and all. They will go and entertain these cases. They will try to file them and try their luck. It is very, very smart on the behalf of Honorable Supreme Court to quash it at the conceptual level. Even if you had started a discussion, फिर तो सब कुछ शुरू हो जाता. Then the Pandora's box have opened. I think we have done a great deal in this country, and I congratulate NewsX and your channel, ma'am, for bringing this up, because this is the nefarious plot behind it. This is the nefarious design behind it. Now, Waqf is gone. What is the route B or what is the route C? So find these people who say he was my great grandfather. Bahadur Shah Zafar died in 1852. Madam, 150 साल हो गए, 200 साल आ गए. After 200 years, you suddenly waken up and say, this Lal Killa is mine. And the Honorable Chief Justice is right. Why not Qutub Minar? Why not Fatehpur Sikri? Why not every nook and corner of the Mughal Empire? You were just trying to put the egg in the basket by starting with Lal Killa. You are trying to test the waters. If the petition is admitted, कल ये भी डालेंगे, परसों ये भी डालेंगे, फिर बार लगातार हर चीज ही साहब हमारी है, हम ही किराएदार हैं, मालिक निकल जाते हैं यहाँ से. I mean that is where it will root to Devka ji.
Okay, I want to bring in Gautam. Okay, I want to bring in Gautam Mukherjee into the conversation as well. Gautam Mukherjee, would you agree that this seems like a larger nefarious plot and also slightly fishy? Sultana Begum, a 60-year-old woman living in Howrah, West Bengal, and for the past many years she's been filing these pleas times and again before earlier the Delhi High Court, and now this time around the Supreme Court. Why exactly does a 60-year-old woman living in West Bengal find the need to keep approaching the courts in Delhi when her first plea was already dismissed in 2021?
Yes, this is certainly nefarious, and apart from anything else, people claiming to be Mughal heirs must realize that each of these people had some 400-500 heirs, and it is very difficult for her to even claim who she is, let alone claim property that is left over from that period when successive governments have come and gone since. So this is totally frivolous on the one hand, and nefarious insofar as the motives are to clog the courts with claims that really do not have a basis in the laws of the Republic of India. This is, somebody could come from any dynasty, any time, and start claiming all sorts of things. For example, Raisina Hill used to, according to reports, belong to the Maharaja of Jaipur, and it was taken over, acquired by the British to build North Block, South Block, Rashtrapati Bhavan, and so forth. Now, this kind of excavated, if you like, claim does not make sense, and maybe there should be a blanket statement from the higher courts saying, don't bother, such claims will not be entertained. Devika.
Okay, Mr. Choman, I also want to understand from your perspective. I started by asking you, and Sumit Peer also raised the same point, what really becomes the motivation of advocates in such cases to actually encourage petitioners to go forward with such claims?
Devika ji, thank you very much. I was about to raise this topic only. So first of all, thank you Sumit Peer ji also for articulating the views very perfectly. So I adopt his views. And now coming to your question, very pertinent question you have raised. It is not the court of facts, it's a court of law. And it has very serious business to do. And it is already suffering with so much of backlog. The millions of cases yet to be decided. There are people who are waiting for justice. And they are not given priority. And people like this are given the priority. They are heard. Even if 10 minutes are spent on couple of matters for other people deserving justice. So what I have to say is, I think Supreme Court should now get very serious about the issue and pull up the lawyers also, that how what is your legal study, what is your understanding, how could you even draft such a frivolous petition? Don't you know the law? When a lawyer is appearing in the Supreme Court, is he not supposed to know the law, that whatever he is asking for, whether even it is, justifiable under the law, how can he substantiate it in any provision of the law? There is nothing like that. So I think Supreme Court should start penalizing these lawyers, reporting the matter to the Bar Council and taking stern action, because there is a lobby of certain people, as Sumit ji was rightly pointing out. There is a lobby of people behind him who are instigating such persons to come and file the cases, start making all sort of frivolous claims. So they may sound funny. There's something of a sinister motive behind it. So I think Supreme Court should be vigilant, and they should, pull up the lawyers first. How dare you make mockery of the Supreme Court and abuse the entire process of Supreme Court by filing such a frivolous petition?
Okay. Okay. Mr. Roman, I'll come back to that point in just a bit. But Sumit Peer, bringing you back into the conversation, I want to understand from your perspective as well. How does a 60-year-old woman living in Howrah, West Bengal really have the means to keep on taking up this case over and over again once it's already been dismissed by the Delhi High Court in 2021? Should the authorities be looking into who's truly behind in terms of encouraging this woman? We don't know whether she's someone's descendant or not. She may as well be. That's not the contention here. But who's really encouraging someone living all the way in Howrah, West Bengal to come and file these frivolous cases before the courts, not only wasting their own time, but also the precious time of the courts itself?
Devika ji, you have nailed it. I must compliment you for the question, because the reason, there are two answers to it. The first answer is, if you go with the logic of the woman, the concept of the case, that I am a descendant of XYZ and this Lal Killa mera hai. By that logic, before Marathas, before Mughals, so-called Mughals, they were basically from Uzbekistan, Samara, there's nothing called Mughalistan. So before these Mughals invaders came to India, Marathas were ruling Delhi for, some people say 50 years, some people may 75 years. Even if the Marathas were ruling for 50 years, by that logic, the Delhi's, all the land was Marathas. But then you say Mughals came and they took over the land, so ye Mughal ki ho gayi. Then after that the East India came, but still the land remains with Mughals. It did not remain with Marathas. Then the independent India came, but still land remains with Mughals, but not with independent India or the Republic of India. How come this land conveniently gets stuck with one dynasty and one set of people? logically, when the ownership or when the Shasan Prashasan changes, the land should change. Now, answering your question in pertinently, ma'am, there's a very, the whole idea of this thing was anyhow use a very innocent character to somehow get this court case listed. Even if you have a hearing, you will start another Ram Janambhoomi Babri Masjid kind of a dispute. You wanted to cede that dispute at any cost. So you tried your luck in a sessions court, you went to high court. Now you are even going and burning your money to in the Supreme Court because you want this dispute to start. Because if this dispute starts, this case will be the basis of thousands of other cases to be admitted. Then we will go into a go sent and look for kakas, look for appeal, look for vakil. And in this case, people will show all their kakas. When we ask the NRC, बोलेंगे कागज नहीं दिखाएंगे, but यहाँ कागज भी मिलेंगे और यहाँ सारी दलील भी मिलेगी. You can see how the dichotomy works. Now, this was only has to be the people behind it. There have to be forces here behind it, which are funding this woman. This woman, unfortunately, is a front which is being used. And the people who are behind it, who are giving her the money or are encouraging her to do this, it is the duty of the, I think, NIA, most probably, or the CBI, to get into this and find and break this nexus and find who are the people who are running this nexus. This is a nexus to choke the judicial system of India. This is a nexus to get the Waqf board route B started. This is a nexus to really trample over all the Hindu rights, because I'll be very direct. When Marathas don't own the land, when Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj's descendants don't own the land, but Bahadur Shah Zafar ke descendants own the land, how come this is possible? I mean, how come your, ownership on the land is perpetual? Britishers came for 200 years, nothing happened. Now India is independent of it, nothing happens. But bhai, 200 saal pehle ye hua tha, isse zameen hamari. Understand the plot, ma'am. Plot is very deep. They were trying their luck, and it's good. What I agree with Naveen ji and Gautam ji when they say that the Honorable Supreme Court should come up with a judgment saying, bhai, this all will never be entertained. And all the lawyers who come and do it, they should be penalized, they should be pulled up. Even a couple of their licenses should be held up or suspended or cancelled, then only ye manenge. Because otherwise, this is an excellent way to choke our judicial system. In the world of IT, you say, whenever you have to dismantle the server, what do? You send millions of requests to the server. Server has a capacity of, let's say, answering 1,000 requests. When you send a million requests to the server, it chokes the server. So that is how you hang the server. That is exactly the logic they were trying to use. It today it will be Sultana Begum, tomorrow it will be Rehana Begum, after that it will be Afshana Begum. And people will keep on coming and they will keep on claiming everything. And I fear, if things are going, will go their way. One day we have to pay kiraya or jajia, then your studio, my house, everybody belongs to them. Hum to bhaiya kirayedar hai. I mean, that is where it is going to go at. I think this all crap has to be stopped, and the people who are behind it have to be investigated and they have to be put behind the bars if push comes to shove, and let people get out of this hallucination. Bahadur Shah Zafar ka zamana gaya. He passed away in 1852. Now it is independent India and the Republic of India. That is the reality. Don't bring in these ghosts of the past. By that logic, Marathas control around 75% of Bharat. So do descendants of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj will then tomorrow come and say, Mera haq to pehle hai. We were controlling all of the Bharat. If they don't have a haq, how do the descendants of Bahadur Shah Zafar have a haq? What is this drama going on here? Do you think our judges and our legal system and the whole of India is stupid? We will walk into this trap. And it is very good. I am reiterating one point. The Honorable Chief Justice, sir, and the Manini Supreme Court did not hear them even for a minute. Even if they would have heard them, the Pandora's box would have started. And exactly what was the mission. They know they will lose the case. But how to start this new Pandora's box, how to start new facade. And when you start cautioning, they say Muslim properties is taken by Hindus, Muslimanon pe zulum ho raha, unki property li ja rahi, then all Al Jazeeras of the world and all will start singing the tune and all the Tabalchis will start zulum ho raha. I mean, that is what the bigger plot was, to defame Modi government and BJP at any cost and stop India's development and progress when becoming the third largest economy and the fourth biggest military power. And incidentally, this happens when you have a standoff going off with Pakistan and Turkey and some Islamic countries are directly helping Pakistan. But this is a coincidence, ma'am? I don't think so.
Okay, all right. I want to bring in Shram Shavish Rain into the conversation as well. Shram Shavish Rain, do you feel that some of these petitions that have been filed before earlier the Delhi High Court and now the Supreme Court, that it's a part of a larger nefarious plot, or is this just a misguided old lady in West Bengal?
It is just a misguided thing, nothing else. It's not a plot, let me tell you that. There are several matters that keep on, someone or the other keeps on filing. Taj Mahal hamara hai, this property is ours. राष्ट्रपति भवन हमारा है. These kind of matters keeps on filing here. So what Mr. Sumit said, बहुत ही बड़ा nexus है निकलना चाहिए. It's all rubbish. First, second, lawyers के साथ ये होना चाहिए, वो होना चाहिए. Let me tell you that lawyers, they are looking for कि they actually want fees. We all know that what the fate of the case actually would be, but because of them, they actually want a client, they want a fee.
Our ethics don't permit so.
Sorry?
Our ethics don't permit us to file such frivolous petitions.
No, sir, let me tell you, ethics is that you cannot say no to any client. For you, it might be a wrong case, but for that person might be a right case.
No. But if it is not legally tenable, we have to inform the client that it is not legally tenable.
Sorry, come back again.
If the matter is not legally tenable, it is the duty of the lawyer to inform the client that the case is not legally tenable, you cannot file it. You cannot instigate the client, come on, give me the fees, I will file a frivolous petition. That is not allowed. That is against the ethics.
Let me tell you that every lawyer, even for these temples also, the matters that's been filed, Sabrimala and the other matters, sorry, the other temple matters, lawyer thought that यार इतने साल पुराना मंदिर है, इसमें कौन ही issue notice होगा, but it happened. So in the end, as a lawyer, your job is to file a matter. It's the court's job to see whether the matter should be entertained or not. Alright, so you saying कि भाई lawyers का भी nexus है, सबका ही nexus है, no, it's wrong. Everyone has a right to go to the court and file a matter. It's not us there to actually judge them. But yes, what the previous speaker said, that there should be a proper judgment by the Supreme Court that none of such kind of matters should be filed again. Such kind of matters should not be heard. It's not only for these Taj Mahal, Red Fort and all. It's for even the temple matters. If you have issued one matter में issue notice हुआ, now you have been seeing every day somewhere or the other a temple के ऊपर एक वो मंदिर वो case हो रहा है file. So it will happen.
But how is a temple matter when one is saying that there was a larger temple land which was demolished and perhaps some other structures came in place? How is that comparable to, say, you and I going to court and saying that actually I am the descendant of so and so and I am the owner of India's parliament? Is that comparable?
Yeah. Yes, let me tell you on that. So the temple was actually demolished when 200 साल पहले. You have a time limit. Of course, entire world is like that. कुछ टूटा, कुछ चीज बना. So if you say कि नहीं 200 साल पहले so and so मुगल आया, उसने temple तोड़ा, so this thing will happen, that is wrong. होगा ही होगा. Obviously, even दिल्ली भी जो entire Delhi में कितना कुछ टूटा, कब्रिस्तान थे, क्या क्या नहीं था वहां पर. But then you can't just come and say कि नहीं ये वाली property हमारी है. नहीं है. Time period था, time period got over. You have a limitation. The court should actually issue a suo motu in such kind of a matter. As the previous speaker said, a proper judgment should come that इसके बाद से, like if you say 47 के बाद से कुछ भी changes जो हुए उसके अंदर matters file हो गए, उससे पहले के matters file नहीं हो गए. These kind of judgment should come. Otherwise, okay. Yes, someone had filed a matter कि ये Supreme Court जिस land पे है बना हुआ 200 साल पहले, 100 साल पहले मेरे so and so ने rent पर दिया था. So these matters will actually come up. So it's the court, it's the government who has to see that you have to file a pass a notification कि नहीं ये वाले matters entertain नहीं
होंगे. I want to bring in Gautam Mukherjee. Gautam Mukherjee, are the situations comparable? Shamshabir Jain says that because the courts entertain several pleas as far as temples are concerned and temple structures are concerned, so why is it not that Sultana Begum in Howrah, West Bengal can lay claim to any other structure across India? Are the two cases comparable?
Well, no, they're not. But one more point I want to raise is the concept of sovereignty. Now, India is a sovereign republic. That means, by implication, anything that isn't private property belongs to the government. Any mineral or substance found underneath the earth belongs to the government. So whatever went before is part and parcel of the government's inheritance in 1947. And therefore, your claim is on the government. If you say that my such and such forefather owned something, then you have to claim on the government, and the government will say, well, that has lapsed and I am the owner. Now, as far as temples being demolished and mosques being placed on top, this is something that has been done 500 times over. And if it can be proved, there is certainly a case. And this is a place of religious worship, quite different from somebody coming along and saying Raisina Hill is mine because my forefathers used to own the land it's built upon. All of South Delhi used to be farmland. People have been paid meager compensation depending on when it was overtaken by the government and colonies were built upon it. So this becomes totally untenable. The business of inheritance rights beyond the sovereignty of the country, which is now part and parcel of the Republic of India. Devika.
Okay, Sumit Peer wants to come in.
May I make a humble
Yes,
submission?
yes. Chandra Vishran, I'll give you an opportunity. Listen to Sumit Peer as well.
I wanted to make one point. You see, on national TV, I want to say, I am descendant of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, and ये नवीन चोमल जी जो बैठे, he is my lawyer. Like, can I go and tomorrow file a petition saying Jama Masjid is my property because my great grandfather Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj was ruling the place, and by the logic of that, it becomes his property, and Naveen Chomalji will be my advocate, and let's file a petition in Supreme Court. Is that tenable? Is that what should be done? And is Naveen Chomal right to do that? Am I right to do that? If you question Naveen Chomal, why you are not questioning me? What are my intentions behind paying Naveen Chomal a fees? Does that mean if I go and pay anybody lawyer a fees, I can go ahead and claim anything? How many people in this country will be willing to hire lawyers to block the courts of India? You have to just pay some 10,000 rupees, तो फिर तो कोर्टों की वाट लगा दो आप. You choke the judicial system of India. I mean, what kind of a thing are we saying? I mean, there is a limit to absurdity. We can't go beyond the point.
Okay, all right. Limit to absurdity. Okay, I want to take that point up. Shamsha Vishran, you wanted to come in.
Yeah, so for that, I would say that yes, you can file a matter again. It is the court who will see, because they are matters that cannot even be reached to the court. The filing section will actually stop the matter over there. But you cannot stop any person to file any matter in the court. It's their right. It's their basic fundamental right. Let the court see that whether the matter is to be entertained or not first. Secondly, it's the time that the Limitation Act should be seen on. If there is any kind of amendment that needs to be done, you have to do that. The government have to see that. You can't say कि नहीं ये तो हमारा है. I am talking about everyone, every property, everyone who is talking about कि ये हमारा 100 साल पहले का है, 200 साल पहले का. No, you have to understand that every time someone comes in, they actually rule. Even अभी यहाँ पर हम लोग हैं, you actually never know, after 100 years someone else will actually come and rule here in India, and then ये बोले कि नहीं ये हमारा. नहीं, this has been happening from past ages, that someone comes, demolish हुआ, नया built हुआ, फिर demolish हुआ, फिर नया built हुआ. So everyone has to understand that this is how the evolution comes. You have to accept the change.
Okay.
You can't keep on it.
Okay, I want to leave the last word with Advocate Naveen Chomal.
See, as Sumitji and Gautamji were saying, the issue is very serious, and Supreme Courts are not the courts of facts; they are constitutional courts, courts of law. So they should not be allowed. The frivolous petitioner should never be allowed to misuse the Supreme Court machinery. It is supposed to be used for giving justice to the society. So I am of the firm view that such frivolous petitions are also coming with the cases. Apart from the petitioner, the lawyer should be very heavily punished by the Supreme Court, and even he can be de-rostered from the Bar Council's registration. That's my submission. Thank you very much.
Okay, all right. We've completely run out of time, but I thank all of our guests for joining us on the broadcast to take that conversation forward. With that, viewers, we sip into a very short break.